Members' motion with no legislative effects. Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion on staying firm and united to counter the tariff trade wars and strengthening Hong Kong's role as an international gateway. Two members will move amendments to the motion. This council will proceed with joint debates on the motion and the amendments. Later, I will first call upon Mr. Ma Fung-kwok to speak and move the motion. Then I will call upon Mr. Yim Kong and Dr. Cheung-wing to speak in sequence. Mr. Ma Fung-kwok, I haven't invited you to speak yet. The joint debate now begins. Members who wish to speak, please press the Request to Speak button. I now call upon Mr. Ma Fung-kwok to speak and move the motion. Mr. Ma Fung-kwok. Thank you, President. I was too worried about the time for the debate. President, I move that the motion as printed out on the agenda be passed. The CEO of Apple announced the second quarter results for the company on Labour's Day. Now, even with the tariff is maintained at the current level with no additional tariff on China, it will add 900 million USD to the cost of Apple. Now, according to the bank, the tariff results in a price hike in many household items. It will result in a food shortage for many grassroots families. Now, because the Hong Kong Post has suspended receiving small parcels to the U.S., there will be some hospitals in the U.S. experiencing shortage of materials and supplies because many medical supplies are being exported to the U.S. via Hong Kong in small parcels. Now, these are just the tip of the iceberg after the tariff hike. Now, Trump's policy is American first and a bully tactics for other countries. With the excuse of tariffs, Trump is trying to contain the development of China and stop the rejuvenation of our nation. Now, every year, the U.S. has been making a profit of 1 trillion USD each year, but he doesn't admit that it has saved a lot of money for the U.S. as well. Now, trade always takes place on consensus. It is because of the pricing advantage that's why so many consumers in the U.S. are buying products from China. And every year, businessmen in the U.S. are earning 100 billion USD from China. Many items imported from China are actually produced by American businesses in China. For example, last year, the amount of mobile phone imports amounted to $41.7 billion. It accounts for 81% of the amount of mobile phones imported worldwide by the US. Now, the loss caused to Apple will be some 33 billion USD each year because of tariff. There is no winner in the tariff war. It hurts both parties. The multiple tariff hikes implemented by Trump has raised the price of household items in the country. Would that be supported by Americans? Is that how democracy is? Now, I'm not trying to complain about tariff. I'm trying to say how it will hurt each other and how Hong Kong can use our position to align ourselves with national strategy. Now, President Xi mentioned that there is no winner in a tariff war. Working against the world will only end up in isolation. Over the past 70 years, China, our country, has risen based on our own endeavor. We didn't rely on bullying others. Now, despite the changes in the international landscape, we will continue to focus on our own development. Now, since the tariff war started, Trump has changed his position numerous times, but our country, on the other hand, has stuck to our own principle. Now, since the tariff war started during Trump 1.0, the country has prepared itself for a long-term attrition trade war. while preparing itself in terms of capabilities in new energy and aviation. Now, with the dual circulation strategy and a unified market, we are eliminating our inventories and boosting our sales. President Xi has been visiting ASEAN countries to boost our relationship with these countries. Now, this year, subsidies have been offered to boost consumption in retail products. It has also enhanced living standard of Chinese people. Now, the tariff war will affect businessmen. I understand that everyone is profit-seeking, but I urge that the business sector should pay heed to national interests, especially on major issues of right and wrong. So I urge all parties to gather around the Hong Kong SAR government and the country to be determined despite of the bullying tactics of the American, and let's take actual actions to build Hong Kong and the country. The Chief Executive, Mr. John Lee, has launched 7 measures to help SMEs to fight against the bullying. That includes helping the SMEs to seize national opportunities, deepening national and regional cooperation, speeding up transformation of industries towards high value-added model, and also attracting more high-caliber talents to enhance our competitiveness, give play to our role as an international financial center to promote financial collaboration, and attracting foreign capital to invest in Hong Kong. These are all proactive countermeasures. We need to guard against the so-called reciprocal tariff imposed by Trump on Hong Kong. He tries to blur Hong Kong's position under one country, two systems. He tries to describe Hong Kong as just an ordinary city in the country, and that we are not special and unique anymore. Now, Hong Kong is an independent tax jurisdiction recognized by the world. We are a free port with no tariff. The so-called tariff on Hong Kong is groundless. The U.S. does not respect the international order based on fair trade and equity. However, Hong Kong, a veteran in navigating difficult geopolitical landscape, must harness our advantage under one country, two systems, and protect our international financial and trade network. We must make use of our 100 ETOs and mobilize the private sectors in art, culture, business, and so on to make use of a position to deepen international interaction and collaboration. Now, last Tuesday, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs uploaded a video themed "No Fear." Now, we can't step back in negotiation. We can't kowtow to bullies. We need to uphold the principle of fairness in international relationship. I think the country's stance has given much encouragement to other countries being bullied by the U.S. It will help unite the international community to uphold justice. Now, over the past few years, I've been urging that Hong Kong should integrate into the national development. Now, in the digital market, amidst the national strategies of digital China and healthy China, we need to integrate ourselves into this market with the largest consumption power and the largest population. We need to work with the country to explore international markets. Of course, we need to bolster our position and help the country to fight this trade war. Now, my motion is, for a motion, I would like to start a debate on how we can stay firm against unreasonable bullying. I so submit. I hope members will support my motion.
I now propose a question to you that Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion be passed. Mr. Yim Kong. President, the U.S. imposed high tariffs, and Mr. Ma Fung-kwok moved the motion on studying firm and united to counter the tariff trade wars and strengthening Hong Kong's role as an international gateway. Different quarters of the community need to seize the opportunity to strengthen our position as an international financial center. This motion debate is very important. The tariff and trade wars are not only a challenge to Hong Kong, but they also present a challenge to the world. In the face of the bullying trade wars imposed by the U.S., we need to stay united and resolutely dovetail with our country's corresponding tactics and deepen our collaboration. We need to help our country to counter the U.S. measures. On the one hand, we, Hong Kong, are one of the most freest economy around the world. We have free capital flow, low tax regime, highly internationalized business environment. We are also one of the gateway to the market in China. Hong Kong is a strategic platform. We have a mature network to help Hong Kong enterprises to develop their business into overseas markets. We have a role as a superconnector. So against the backdrop of unstable geopolitical landscape, we play a very important role. In recent years, the Chinese government has been developing the Belt and Road market. 2 decades ago, over 21%, to last year 14.7%. This is the figure for the export of China to U.S. This shows the effectiveness of the policy. The Belt and Road Initiative has been providing a lot of development opportunities for Hong Kong. We need to capitalize on our strength of professional services. We need to set up logistics and assembly headquarters, and we also need to attract overseas enterprises to enter the Chinese market. This is one of the highlights of my amendments. We need to play a more active role. The Middle East, the U.S., as well as the Southeast Asian markets, we need to develop these markets. We are an arbitration center. We need to give fuller play to this role. We need to expedite the development of innovation and technology in order to promote our leading position in the global supply chain. A poet once said that we need to consolidate our strengths before we can address any challenges or adversities. We need to give better play to our role as a gateway to our country. We need to collaborate in face of the bullying behavior of the U.S. At this critical juncture, we need to showcase our spirit of the Lion Rock. We need to capitalize on our strengths to make contributions to our country so that we will win in the trade war with the U.S. I support the motion, and I also support Dr. So's amendment. I hope members will support my amendment. Thank you. Dr. So Cheung-wing. President, the U.S. imposed indiscriminate tariffs to destroy free trade. They unreasonably suppressed our country. We need to safeguard the rights of the city as well as our country. This is our mission. We need to use our institutional strengths of one country, two systems to safeguard the interest of our country, thereby making contributions to our country. I support Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion and Mr. Yim's amendment. So how can we win In this trade war, the chief executive announced 7 measures against the tariff imposed by the U.S. They are targeted measures. They help us rise to the risks right in front of us, and they also lay down the direction in the long term. It is necessary to formulate measures and policies in order to introduce China concept stocks to list in Hong Kong. We need to attract U.S. technology talents to settle in Hong Kong and proactively explore more diversified new trade and investment channels, thereby creating new opportunities for Hong Kong. We need to take actions proactively. This is the highlight of my amendment. The Ministry of Finance of the U.S. last week said that they didn't rule out the possibility that China concept stocks would be delisted from the U.S. exchange. The Central People's Government would definitely work to counter the attack of the U.S. What about Hong Kong? Regarding Chinese enterprises listed in the U.S., how many do we have? What about the administrative costs of the enterprises returning to Hong Kong for listing? These enterprises have concerns about the administrative costs. For China concept stocks that already practice dual primary listing, can we put in place Stock Connect to improve the mobility of the stock towards the south and the north? We need to introduce more China's concept stocks to Hong Kong. There are a lot of benefits. There aren't any drawbacks. Trade wars impact heavily on the global order. We have very important function and position. Donald Trump took office and brought a lot of uncertainties to the tech industry in the U.S. He's changing the entire ecosystem. A lot of scientists have started to ponder on their career as well as their life. The vast majority of these scientists have a lot of research experience. Can the government take proactive steps to attract mature scientists from the U.S. to come to Hong Kong? We have political stability, we enjoy good law and order, we have a low tax regime, and the government emphasizes the development of INT. As long as we are willing to work on these fronts, there are great opportunities.
Yeah.
Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development. President, I thank Mr. Ma Fung-kwok for moving the motion and Mr. Yim Kong and Dr. So Cheung-wing for their amendments. For us to have this opportunity to listen to members' views, the motion urges the government and all sectors of the community to resolutely dovetail with our country's corresponding strategies, unite together to resist the bullying of the United States, and do their utmost to contribute to both Hong Kong and our country with more practical actions. The government is fully on board with this statement. Hong Kong is a separate customs territory and an individual member of the World Trade Organization. We are also a staunch supporter of free trade. The imposition of the so-called reciprocal tariffs by the U.S. on Hong Kong, which has always maintained a zero-tariff policy, is entirely unreasonable and factually baseless. It highlights the U.S.'s blatant and barbaric suppression of the competitors. The government has repeatedly issued statements expressing our strong dissatisfaction and urged the U.S. to immediately rectify its wrongful actions. Their actions are seriously in violation of the WTO rules. The U.S. no longer adheres to free trade principles. It wantonly disrupted the international trade order and destabilized global supply chains. We've decided to lodge a complaint with the WTO regarding this matter. We're making preparations and progressing as planned. Since the U.S. announced the so-called reciprocal tariffs, our Bureau has met with representatives from major local chambers of commerce, SMEs, associations, industries most affected, including jewelry, textiles and apparel, food, aluminium and steel sectors. These meetings aim to gather their views on the issue and discuss countermeasures. In response to the new landscape in order of international trade and economics, Hong Kong must adopt strategies based on consolidating its strength, seizing opportunities, and mitigating risks. We'll also intensify our efforts to implement the measures. Now, on promoting multilateral cooperation and regional cooperation, as a founding member of the WTO, Hong Kong will continue to firmly support the rules-based multilateral trading system with the WTO at its core, while actively participating in and supporting regional economic cooperation. The government will also continue to explore emerging markets, including ASEAN, the Middle East, and Latin America. For example, Hong Kong signed a free trade agreement with Peru in November last year, and the investment agreement with Bahrain came into effect on March 21st this year. We'll also explore investment agreements with Saudi Arabia, Bangladesh, Egypt, and Peru. We will also actively seek early accession to the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, by maintaining close communication with RCEP members and leveraging various platforms to lobby for its inclusion to allow Hong Kong to contribute to regional economic development. Apart from pursuing free trade agreements and investment agreements with more economies, the government is actively following up on plans to establish economic and trade offices in Malaysia and Saudi Arabia. The existing 14 ETOs will continue to undertake external liaison and promotion through its network. They will actively promote Hong Kong's unique advantages of having the motherland's backing and being connected to the world under one country, two systems, as well as opportunities arising from the Greater Bay Area and the Belt and Road Initiative. Efforts will be made to take forward this task to further expand our economic and trade network. In terms of investment or attracting investment, in 2024, the number of offices in Hong Kong with parent companies based overseas reached 9,960, while the number of startups reached 4,700, both record highs. Last year, Invest Hong Kong assisted 539 mainland or overseas companies in setting up or expanding their businesses in Hong Kong, representing an annual increase of over 40%. These achievements, coupled with Hong Kong's unique advantages under one country, two systems, demonstrate Hong Kong's resilience against the U.S. tariff pressures and give play to its continued role as a superconnector and super value adder, as the figures just cited have shown that they've exceeded the KPIs set out in the 2022 policy address. Amid global trade shifts, rising protectionism, and relocation of supply chains to the global south and Belt and Road countries, Hong Kong's extensive international trade experience and world-class professional services can help mainland enterprises redeploy their global supply chains. As announced in the 2024 policy address, Invest Hong Kong and the Hong Kong Trade Development Council established a high-value-added supply chain service mechanism in December last year. It aims to attract mainland enterprises to set up international or regional headquarters in Hong Kong for managing offshore trade and supply chains, while providing one-stop professional consultancy services to enhance Hong Kong's role as an international gateway. Now, on financial support for SMEs, Hong Kong government has been assisting SMEs through various funding schemes and support measures, including the SME Financing Guarantee Scheme, which provides credit guarantees to help SMEs secure commercial loans. Continuous enhancements will be rolled out to help SMEs navigate challenges in a complex and volatile economic environment whilst maintaining competitiveness. Expanding overseas markets. We have rolled out a number of supporting measures, such as the SME Export Marketing Fund, which provides subsidies to encourage participation in export promotion. The BUD Fund supports business development in 40 economies. In July last year, we launched the e-commerce Easy under the BUD Fund and organized initiatives such as the Hong Kong Shopping Festival and the e-commerce express service through the Hong Kong TDC to enhance the visibility and competitiveness of Hong Kong brands in overseas markets to help them promote e-commerce business. On tapping overseas markets, we will continue to encourage Hong Kong enterprises to leverage the opportunities provided by the second agreement concerning amendment to the Agreement on Trade and Services of the Mainland and the Hong Kong CEPA, which came into effect on the 1st of March this year. The amendment agreement second lowest entry barriers for Hong Kong professionals and enterprises in the mainland services sectors, including finance, construction, testing, certification, telecommunications, film, television, and tourism. These measures create favorable conditions for Hong Kong businesses to expand into the mainland market. This will help attract more startups, talents to set up presence in Hong Kong and to tap the mainland market. On the export market development, following the policy addresses proposal to increase the maximum indemnity ratio of the Hong Kong Export Credit Insurance Corporation to 95%, the ECIC has introduced 3 support measures to counter the tariffs. These include extending free pre-shipment risk coverage for holders of small business policy, offering 50% discount on pre-shipment risk coverage, aligning premium rates for emerging markets with traditional markets to help businesses accelerate their expansion into emerging markets. On the financial networks, in light of global market changes and new demands, the government will promote international financial cooperation and reinforce Hong Kong's status as an international financial center. We'll focus on deepening ties with emerging markets in Southeast Asia and the Middle East to attract new capital, investors, talent, while aligning with national economic policies to attract mainland and technology with potential and emerging enterprises to set up presence in Hong Kong. The Hong Kong Stock Exchange and the Securities and Futures Commission are prepared under the guidance to facilitate the listing of overseas China concept stocks in Hong Kong. Suitable guidance will be provided to help them list in Hong Kong so that Hong Kong can be their number one choice. Amid complex geopolitical dynamics, Hong Kong will capitalize on the global trend of risk diversification of other countries so as to attract foreign enterprises and capital. The tariff war has caused a reallocation of assets. As the world's freest economy, Hong Kong offers a safe and stable investment environment under one country, two systems, with unparalleled access to the mainland market. We are a prime location for asset and wealth management. We believe this will help us promote the development of asset and wealth management business. On attracting U.S. technology talent, the government has implemented measures in recent years such as the Top Talent Pass scheme to facilitate the development of global talent in Hong Kong, including I&T talent. Adhering to the principle of promoting technology with talents, leading industries with technology, and attracting talents with industries, the government continues to promote innovation technology by creating quality job opportunities and development prospects for I&T talent. For example, the int'l Hong Kong Research Clusters, the flagship platform, have brought together approximately 2,500 researchers from Hong Kong around the world. There are other initiatives such as the Frontier Tech Research Support Scheme and Life and Health Research Institute Funding Scheme to support local universities in attracting global talents. Mr. President, I will respond again after listening carefully to members' views. I so submit. Thank you.
Why you?
Mr. Kenneth Leung. Thank you, President. I thank Mr. Ma for moving this motion. This gives us an opportunity to discuss the tariff war imposed by the US. This will also enhance cohesion in Hong Kong so that we will stay resilient despite the uncertainties in the geopolitical landscape around the world. The Donald Trump government announced measures on tariffs, and this damaged the interest of different countries. This also destroyed the multilateral trade system around the world. To top it all, the US sees tariffs and trade war as weapons. They force different countries to make compromises. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs made their stance very clear. We won't be afraid of the trade war. We will safeguard our own interests and rights. We'll definitely fight till the end. We will exhaust all means to mitigate the impact of tariff wars on Hong Kong. First of all, we need to give full play to our strengths of enjoying strong support of the motherland and connection with the world. We can re-export the goods and products to different countries or ports. We need the support of our country in order to weather the storms. I hope that the government will enhance efforts in credit insurance, and according to 2024 investment report of the United Nations, we are the fourth largest foreign investment The global south is rising, so is the Middle East. We can develop these business opportunities and markets. We may provide programs targeting the youth to provide assistance to them so that they can develop their businesses. The Federation of Youth has been partnering up with the relevant association to develop a youth hub. I hope we will enhance our efforts in this regard. Hong Kong is an international city. We are a free port. In the face of the unilateralism of the US, we need to mount publicity and fare better in public education. We need to showcase the advantages of free trade to the world. We need to promote a win-win situation. Actually, the imposition of tariffs by the US will bring no benefits. Quite a lot of US financial leaders pointed out that the tariff wars exerted a lot of negative impacts on inflation as well as the economy of the US. We need to stimulate the global equity market. We need to show the US our wish in establishing friendly ties. What the US does will not be recognized. The trade barriers imposed by the US will definitely not succeed. Hong Kong is an important trade city of our country. We need clear positioning and make our contributions to working with different countries around the world. I also submit a supplement motion and the amendments. Thank you.
Ms. Maggie Chen. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion and the amendments moved by the two other members. It is a timely motion debate which fits our needs. Now, my theme is harnessing our strength in common law and win this tariff war. Now, this is an unreasonable tariff war. It's illogical. It has exceeded beyond the normal realm of trade conflicts. Like Mr. Xiaolong said, the U.S. isn't after our tariffs. They are after our very survival. From trade war to tariff war, from smearing one country, two systems, and intervening in our independent jurisdiction and administration, the U.S. has been a bully for Hong Kong. The objective is to weaken the foundation of our country and weaken our stability, shaken one country, two systems, and contain the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. I agree with Mr. Ma Fung-kwok that we need to unite together to counter the bullying tactics of the U.S. Like President Xi said, trade war and tariff war, there is no winner. The country will not stir up trouble, but we are not afraid of those who stir up trouble. Hong Kong must bolster ourselves as well. We must contribute to the country with our own strengths. According to the work reports of the State Council, we need to enhance high quality, opening up an international cooperation. We need to attract foreign capital and investments. That's one of the key missions of the countries in 2025. The State Council specifies that we need to deepen international collaboration and interaction. Now, the Supreme People's Court report has listed enhancing developments of rule of law as a key mission in 2025. Now, we are a bridge for the country and the world. This is our mission to bring the country closer with the world. So how can we fulfill this mission? The answer lies in law. Hong Kong is the only common law jurisdiction in the country. Riding on the strength of one country, two systems, and the unique advantage under the common law system, we can enhance the foreign law system developments of the country and enhance connectivity between the country's legal system and the world. We can foster a favorable business environment with rule of law and enhance the dual circulation strategies and help bring mainland and Hong Kong businesses to the world. Now, we'll further speak on how we can harness our strength in common law system and enhance the country's foreign law developments and nurture top-tier legal firms, legal talents, and also arbitrators. There are 11 suggestions that I would like to make. First, we need to establish an independent international rule of law index center to help the country enhance its narrative power. Two, we need to combine the country's and the Hong Kong's strength and establish a global legal AI cloud model to enhance developments of the country's legal system and legal talents. Three, we need to apply AI in the legal field in terms of the GPA collaborative platform. Four, we need to establish a foreign law legal data cloud storage center. Five, we need to consolidate Hong Kong's arbitration and mediation prowess in the world and establish a green channel for mainland clients. Six, for GPA lawyers, we need to establish the foreign law business. Seven, we need to align ourselves with the GPA lawyer examination. Eight, we need to become a risk management center for mainland enterprises seeking to tap the global market. We need to enhance transformation in the research and development center. Lastly, we need to provide opportunities for mainland and Hong Kong legal talents to study in the world. Thank you. Mr. Gary Chan. Thank you, President. I believe it is evidence that the Trump administration has been targeting our country and Hong Kong. This is a blatant trade bullying and smearing. The sanctions are unreasonable. We shouldn't have any more illusions with the Trump administration. We need to align with the national strategy to deal with the trade war crisis. Now, the country is taking a strong stance against the bully from the US. There are two main tactics. One is be prepared. Two is be calm. Now, according to the 2024 figure, the country's export volume to the US has been the lowest since year 2001. Since the shots of the trade war has been fired, the country has started coming up with a strategy immediately to help our enterprises tap other markets. On the diplomatic level, the country has been establishing diplomatic ties with our neighbors. More communication has been sought with these countries to tap their business opportunities. For example, China, South Korea, and Japan have had a meeting recently to deepen the economic ties between the three countries. The HKSAR has announced 7 strategies to deal with the trade war. That is good. But we think the government can do even better. For example, besides Chinese enterprises, what is the major source of businesses in Hong Kong? It's actually Japan and other Asian countries. So we need to become a better middleman to have closer ties with the business association and chambers of commerce in these countries. In terms of helping affected enterprises to tap other markets, the government has done a lot as well. But there is always room to do better. For example, the 3 new products. These are the new electronic and technological items. They are competitive in terms of price and quality. I have been emphasizing that in new and emerging areas, we need to work closer with the country to develop these industries. For example, I always say that we can become a base to showcase the country's achievements in new energy technologies. Now, during the visits to the Middle East, the chief executive said that the UAE has purchased some hydrogen fuel cell buses from Hong Kong. Now, for such a deal to happen, we need to be users of our own products. Let's say if Mr. Yan Zhengfei, the CEO of Huawei, is not using their own products, the market will not be confident of the Huawei products. So we need to show our business partners that we are confident in our own products and we are the own users of our products. So in order to develop new energy industries, we need to be using new energies and green fields ourselves. We have to be the users as well. So tapping foreign markets will also help us develop our own industries. We are a port. When there are waves outside, ships will berth in our harbor, but we can't be satisfied with the position as a harbor and a port. When routes are closed, we need to find new routes for ships. Now we need to speed up and embrace changes and reform. We need to give play to our position to deepen international ties with the country during this change unseen in a century's time. I so submit. Professor Cheung-wing. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion and all the amendments. The U.S. takes it as its mission to contain the development of China. Now, the escalation of the tariff war is actually the implementation of the containment strategy. Now, the conflicts between the US and the country will persist into the future. Now, the Trump administration has reinitiated the unreasonable tariff against Chinese products to 145%. Our country has adopted stringent countermeasures as well. Now, the tariff war may persist for a few years. It may be dialed back and it may flip-flop. But one thing is sure. Before a status quo is achieved, there will be more and more conflicts between the two great powers. So under this backdrop, with one country, two system, Hong Kong needs to find its own strategic position and strive for maximum profit. Now, our core strength has never been in the scale of our economy, but rather our institutional strength. It stems from the Constitution and the Basic Law. With high degree of autonomy, we have our own common law system and also free flow of productive factors. We have a simple tax regime. Our business environment is simple and convenient. We are highly transparent and we are connected to the Western system. And also we enjoy independent tax jurisdiction and our currency is pegged with the US dollars. Now, these are all the safeguards for our competitiveness. Now, when the globalized system is failing under the US meddling, now we are being our value is being reassessed by the world. And we need to explore new growth areas and find new opportunities. In the short run, we can align ourselves with the country to fight the tariff trade war. I agree with Mr. Ma Fung-kwok and his proposals. We can further enhance international exchanges with other countries in terms of finance and trade. Now, our ETOs are located in North America, Asia, and Middle East. The efficiency of the ETOs will affect our image. Now, the current KPIs are only the number of conventions and seminars held. We are not assessing the actual benefits of these activities. Now, with the treacherous geopolitical landscape, the conventional operational model of the ETOs cannot meet the new needs. We need to reassess the efficacy of our ETOs and reform their roles in supporting our strategic development. In the long run, we need to focus on nurturing ourselves into a new melting pot of the East and West. Now, when there is a remarkable change in the geopolitical landscape in the world, our value lies in whether we can provide important strategic support for the country. This is our role. And also, we are the window of the country to the world. We need to use our strengths to nurture our core strengths and develop headquarters economy. We need to enlarge our cooperation network in the world and find new growth points. Now, in terms of digital and e-commerce, as well as the technological products, we need to give play to our strengths. We have a chance to forge a new path and write a new chapter for one country, two system. I so submit.
Professor William Wong. Deputy President, U.S. President Donald Trump has imposed reciprocal tariffs on all countries in the world. This has led the whole world into a great chaos, and it has also brought about changes unseen in this century. China is pivotal to navigating the changes and reversing the suppression. Comparing to other countries, China may be less affected by the tariffs. If we take a look at the Golden Week and also the fair just held in Guangzhou, 219 participated in the fair, and the business volume reached $5 billion, up by 33% compared to last year. Without the United States, we still have other business partners, whereas in the United States, there have been major fluctuations in the stock market. Livelihood items are now off the shelf. There have been a shortage of goods and inflation. The markets are being affected. The UPS, the century-old brand in the United States, just announced major layoffs by 20,000 staff. 73 service points will be closed. And in this trade war, the U.S. has done nothing but issue self-serving statements. China is refusing to back down. We have the backbone and we also have the strategy. Still, we need to be prudent in our planning. I have the following suggestions. First, amidst the new global trade landscape, we should tap new and emerging markets along the Belt and Road, BRICS, and ASEAN, and the Middle East. Exports originally targeting the U.S. market should now turn to other markets. Second suggestion, we should implement plans. The SAR government has rolled out a number of strategies, blueprints, and plans, such as the new industrialization initiative, as well as developing Hong Kong into an international R&D center. We must give play to our advantages and unleash our potential so as to contribute to our country. The third suggestion is about networking. We have talents in the United States, and Donald Trump is not friendly to Chinese scientists in the United States. The president has slashed funding for research institutions and introduced layoffs. And around the world, there is already a competition for talents. We should also step up our efforts to attract Chinese scientists in the U.S. to come back. Now, there are also fluctuations in the U.S. market and global financial market. The U.S. Treasury bonds totaling $650 million will mature in June, and there will also be the default crisis. Hong Kong inevitably will be affected as an international financial center since Hong Kong dollar is pegged to the US dollar. We need to be fully prepared for the fluctuations in the US market as well as possible economic recession. We need to formulate responsive strategies to stabilize our economy and our financial market. The fifth suggestion is that we should draw up strategies to promote R&D development and the use of AI. These are new economic drivers. The government should formulate the development blueprint to promote AI so that public and private institutions can adopt AI extensively to facilitate digital transformation and industrial upgrade. China is now the leader in this war, and Hong Kong must also support our country in amidst the changes unseen in the century so that we can scale new heights in economic and R&D developments. I support the motion and the amendments. Mr. Ronald Chan, Deputy President, in April, the U.S. government has waged a tariff war. The U.S. has only its own interest in mind. Our country has decided to stand firm in the face of a 145% tariff increase against Chinese imports by the U.S. China has also introduced countermeasures with confidence. Now, the tariffs have posed immense pressure to global economic growth, and the U.S. itself also faces a lot of problems such as inflation, and even Warren Buffett commented that weaponizing tariffs is a major mistake. However, there is no rationale to speak of, and the U.S. government will continue to mount this war. In the face of this challenge, we should firmly safeguard our interests as well as the country's interests. I thank Mr. Ma Fung-kwok for moving this motion. We are the international gateway as an international financial center. We should leverage on our unique advantages to support the country's strategy to tackle this war. Hong Kong is a free port. We have a zero tariff policy, and we are also a very important hub between China and U.S. trade. And according to statistics, U.S. export reached $590 billion last year. Half of them are transshipment, and we've also recorded a trade deficit of some $200 billion US dollars. However, the U.S. recently has also introduced reciprocal tariffs on our goods. They've also scrapped the arrangements for exempting tariffs for small parcels. This is just an excuse for waging this war. Inevitably, auxiliary industries such as logistics and warehousing will be affected. I'm happy to learn that the government has introduced the 7-pronged strategy to tackle this war on different fronts, and I also support the government for signing 9 free trade agreements and 24 investment agreements with 33 economies, so as to actively tap markets along the Belt and Road and the Middle East and ASEAN. The tariff war will also add uncertainties to the global financial markets. Hong Kong is a highly open economy. The capital markets and the Hong Kong dollar exchange rate will inevitably be affected. The government should closely monitor changes in the financial market. If need be, resolute measures should be taken to stabilize the markets and salvage confidence. And China concept stocks may soon be listed in the United States. As a result, we must take responsive measures. That means we should review local legislation and help attract more China concept stocks to be listed in Hong Kong. In these dire times, we should make sure that our business environment is favorable and that zero tariff policy should be maintained so as to attract capital, cargo and talent to come and set a presence here. Now, I'll just talk about the external environment. Internally, we should also further promote I&T development. We should also build high value-added supply chains so as to sharpen our edge. As an international financial center, we should improve our trade and financing services mechanism. For example, we should improve the cross-boundary settlement payment system. We should develop green finance, etc., so as to fully unleash our potential. The financial sector should continue to provide targeted support for traders and SMEs by, for example, extending the repayment period and lowering the financing cost to tide them over the difficulties. Amidst global changes, we must be resilient against external changes. We should tap new opportunities. We should be able to respond to more blows from the U.S., and we should stand firm as an international gateway to help our country. Since we are the super connected and super value adder, I support Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion and the 2 amendments. Deputy President, I so submit. Mr. Duncan Chiu. Deputy President, I speak in support of Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's original motion. Recently, the U.S. President Donald Trump has waged a tariff war against the world, abiding by the unilateralism and protectionism principles. This has caused major chaos in the global economic order, and we're now in the new global landscape with increased geopolitical tensions, and there will also be a greater chance of economic recession. In the past, U.S. dominates the world, and now the pattern will shift from that to dual dominance by China and the U.S., and we will have a greater say over the world order. This is a new way out for our country. In fact, the U.S. economy has been on a decline. This can be seen in reduced reliance by the allies such as Europe on the US in terms of military equipment and technology. At the same time, there are more and more countries supporting our country's ideology. Now, for the shared future ideology, it embraces different ideas such as peace, inclusion, etc. And our country supports multilateralism as well as joint governance, global governance. These ideas are having more and more support globally. Hong Kong has a lot to do with gaining support of other countries, especially on I&T development. We should leverage on our unique advantage of one country, two systems. In order to build a strong nation, our country needs our support, and we can be the hub and the bridge. In fact, the WIPO Asia Summit was held for the first time in a country, in a place in Asia, and this WIPO Asian Summit has adopted the theme of digital inclusion in the future, and also a shared building community with a shared future in cyberspace. In fact, in 2014, 11 years ago, when I went to Italy to attend the WIPO Summit, presidency already advocated this idea. For this APEC Summit in Hong Kong, once again, this year, they have adopted the same theme. It shows that our country has been sparing no effort over the decade in building a shared future and also leveraging on technology. In fact, in November 2022, the State Council issued a white paper in relation to building a shared future in the cyberspace. It also introduced into the world the development of internet in our country. This idea of building a community with a shared future in cyberspace is an equal rights campaign, because the fruits of technological success is shared by many countries and not dominated by a single country. When it comes to internet development, be it core technologies or development of infrastructure, we missed the opportunity in the last cycle of development. So in the current cycle, we must get on board. We must help our country develop AI, blockchain, etc., so that we have more say in the global community. Over the years, we have had different experts on ISO, EEE, etc., gathering in Hong Kong, and this is where we come in. We should help draw up standards and help our country go global. That means we can provide training for standardization experts. We can also help publicize to the world our standardization work. This is how we can contribute to our country in building a community with a shared future in cyberspace. So more should be done to support our country's efforts in going global. I so submit.
Mr. Sunny Tan. Thank you, Deputy President. The U.S. imposed reciprocal tariffs and bullied us as a weapon. This destroyed trade around the world. After World War II, we have had World Trade Organization framework and in order to build a multilateral framework. This is exactly how we could achieve a win-win situation. We are a highly external economy. Export plays a very important role. Tariff wars exerted a significant impact on the local economy and the textile industry. With an uncertain future, we will not spend as much. When there are risks, there are opportunities. Many countries want to reduce reliance on the US. They want to seek Plan B. This expedites the search for a China-led global supply chain. We are an international gateway, and we can dovetail with national strategies to help our country make a breakthrough. I have suggestions on 3 fronts. First of all, we need to enhance communication and liaison. We also need to stay united to counter the tariff wars. Take the textile industry as an example. We formed an association and a federation. We signed a memorandum of understanding. We have established a communication mechanism. After the trade wars were started, a lot of us are concerned about the possible impact on our business. In view of this, we have engaged experts to hold an online seminar. It helped the industry to have a better understanding of the situation so that we will have a stronger foothold. We need to consolidate our role as an international gateway for enterprises to have good connections. We need to deepen our collaboration with the relevant government departments in mainland China. We also need to enhance liaison and collaboration with the enterprises in mainland China. We need to encourage enterprises to participate in the organization in mainland China. When we move together with our country, then we will be able to seek more business opportunities. This will also help our country in seeking a global supply chain led by China. Many brands and enterprises with potential want to go global. They want to explore opportunities. Hong Kong is an international gateway. I believe our role will help more enterprises to go global. We can help our country to add value in seeking more growth points. We need to help more mainland enterprises to establish a foothold in Hong Kong. We need to provide matching. We need to identify different enterprises as well as their pain points and demands or needs. We need to attract domestic enterprises to develop in different areas such as standards and certification. I believe Hong Kong boasts different strengths. As long as we can consolidate our strengths and stay united, despite the gloomy outlook on the global landscape, I believe we can still embrace a new way out and a good future. Then we can continue to make contributions to the country towards a better future. Thank you. Mr. Dominic Lee. Thank you, Deputy President. Our country is developing very rapidly. The U.S. is worried about possible challenges to their own development. So there have been sanctions, tariffs, and measures against our enterprises. The more you suppress us, the more resilient we are when it comes to AI, EVs, as well as unmanned aerial vehicles or drones. We have been making a lot of different breakthroughs in outdoing the US. Since Donald Trump took office, he imposed so-called reciprocal tax at as much as 145%. This is plainly bullying from the US. The US has earned about $270 billion of trade surpluses. They talk about reciprocal. So shouldn't the tariff for Hong Kong be zero? What are all these if this is not bullying? We are in the face of the provocation of the US. We will never step back. We have never shied away from any challenges. financial tsunami, unlawful assembly in China, pandemic. Hong Kong people have always weathered the storms. That is true in all situations. We rose to challenges one after another. We have been blessed with the strong support from our country. That's why we need to be more active in dovetailing into the development of our country. This will give our enterprises more opportunities and room for development. We also need to help enterprises in upgrading and transformation in Hong Kong. We need to attract more enterprises from the Belt and Road Initiative to establish a foothold in Hong Kong. We need to reduce our reliance on the European and US markets. That's exactly how we can control our future. We shouldn't have any expectation for the US. We shouldn't kowtow to the US. What the US did wasn't just about economic policies. It's plainly bullying. It is threatening the rejuvenation of our nation. The US thinks that what they do can make us kowtow. Well, that is wrong at all. We have never shied away from any challenges. The more you suppress us, the more resilient we become. These are the lessons we have learned from our history. We need to stay resilient. We need to safeguard the dignity of our nation. We need to stay firm. We need to stay united. The rejuvenation of the nation will definitely continue. I so submit. Thank you, Deputy President. Mr. Kenneth Lau. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. Ma for moving this motion. We have an opportunity to talk about this topic and discuss the potential impacts on different quarters of the community. The U.S. waged the trade war. It not only affects and suppresses our own economy, this also has an impact on the sovereignty of the nation. Director Xia Baolong made a speech on the National Security Education Day. The U.S. imposed 145% of tariff on Hong Kong. They aren't after our tariffs. They are actually after our very survival. With the current geopolitical situation, we need to stay firm. We need to stand firm and stay united to safeguard the stability and prosperity of Hong Kong. We need to give full play to our own strengths to counter any external pressure. We need to turn risks into opportunities. I have suggestions on two fronts to strengthen our role as an international gateway in order to address the current risks. We need to expand our trade network. The high tariffs affect Hong Kong. And as Director Xia Baolong said, we are not afraid of anything. We never shy away from any challenges. We need to develop markets. We need to reduce reliance on one single market. Overall, Hong Kong needs to work within the RCEP network. We also need to work with different emerging markets. We have Bud Fund. SMEs can develop new markets. They may take part in more MICE events. We may attract more overseas enterprises to use Hong Kong as a headquarters to promote their own businesses. Hong Kong is a super connector between China and the world. We need to promote the establishment of a cross-boundary e-commerce platform. Customs procedures should be streamlined in order to reduce logistics costs. Hong Kong should be used as a springboard to go global. Hong Kong is an international financial center. We have a mature financial market as well as a comprehensive and mature legal framework. This is our significant strength. In the face of green transformation, we should expedite the development of a green economy. We need to take part in sustainable financial projects, say the issuance of green bonds. Cross-boundary green financial products should be marketed as well. In the face of the potential risks of US dollar settlement, we need to expedite or develop or promote the progress of renminbi securitization. We need to provide tax concessions to attract multinational enterprises to establish a foothold in Hong Kong. This will leverage on our role as a firewall. The tariff war is a challenge to our resilience. This has pointed the future direction of our own development. Our market is resilient. Hong Kong can only counter the impact of tariff wars, but we will also be able to enhance our position as an international financial center. I so submit a support motion. Thank you.
Mr. Michael Lee. Thank you, Deputy President. The Trump administration's tariff policy is hurting itself and hurting others. It hurts the well-being and benefits of the world. But at the same time, it also weakens the consumer sentiments domestically in the US. The rule-based world order is under challenge. Countries led by the US are adopting a zero-sum mindset. They are forming into blocs and isolating others. It is against globalization. It is also against the political landscape after the Cold War. Now, in face of the rise of emerging countries, it shows how outdated the US policy is. How to build a future for the world is hinging upon all nations in the world. Now, the answers from President Xi is to build a community with shared future, which ties the destinies of all countries together. We will achieve prosperity and weather the storm together. The design of the shared future for community is based on responsibilities and international order. Now, with the wanton imposition of tariffs, we are not picking a fight, but we will not back off from a fight. The country has implemented countermeasures, and the Hong Kong SAR government has been working in alignment with the country's policy. For example, the HKECIC has launched a new round of supporting measures for SMEs. The chief executive has been visiting various new markets like the Middle East to find new business opportunities for Hong Kong. Besides looking for businesses, what else can we do? We should fulfill the roles given to us under the 14th Five-Year Plan, including standardization and accreditation, standardizing carbon-neutral energies, becoming an offshore RMB hub for the internationalization of RMB. These are our roles. Now, we need to be the amplifier of confidence in our country. We need to give full play to one country, two system. We need to prepare ourselves to become the manager of international supply chain. Besides attracting businesses and helping the country's businesses go global, we can also enhance the country's industry layouts and help the products reach friendly countries. Deputy President, we have been using a lot of products from the mainland. We should buy more products from the country, including electronic appliances, EVs, which are cheap and of high quality, and even drones. These products' quality are world-renowned. We need to be the demonstration zone for our country's progress. We need to harness the power of clansmen's association overseas to tell good stories of the country. After standardizing and accrediting the country's products, we can use Hong Kong as a showcase for these products. For example, my hometown, Tangerine Peel. It is a famous location for showcasing the country's products. Now, with a country's products gaining popularity in the world, we can bring in business. It can boost our economy and also ensure inheritance for our Chinese culture. We need to bolster our own strengths. To uphold the principle of free trade, we need to tap new markets. In order to tap the opportunity in Middle Eastern and the Gulf countries, we need to enhance the services provided by the ETOs. More support should be given to Hong Kong enterprises in terms of giving them information on the markets, law and legislation, and also help businesses to adapt to the situation over there. We also need to give play to our role as a super connector. We need to reposition ourselves as the distributor of production factors in the world. Thank you. Dr. Hon MA Fung-kwok. I thank Mr. Ma Fung-kwok for the motion and the amendments for the amendments. The Trump administration has been wantonly imposing tariffs on its trade partners. There is a universal reciprocal tariffs on the trade partners. It seriously disrupted the supply chain in the world and the trade landscape. Now, as President Xi said, no matter how the external environment changed, we need to be determined and persevere on our own business. Now, the country has been pursuing the policy of high-quality opening up and reform and adheres to the principle of free trade and globalization. The country has provided strong support for globalization. Now, as an international financial and trade center, Hong Kong is affected by the tariff war. But when there is a risk, there is also opportunity. We need to help the sectors to adapt themselves to the new situation and give full play to our unique strengths under one country, two systems as super connectors and super value adder. We need to turn the tide around and make the trade war our opportunity. That's why I support the main theme of the motion. The governments and all sectors in society should be determined in aligning themselves with the national strategy and give play to our role as an international window for the country. We need to deepen international collaboration. Since the announcement of reciprocal tariff by the US, the BPA has been positioning itself as the bridge between the governments and the sectors in society. We have proposed measures to adapt to the tariff war to help Hong Kong tide itself over. Now, first of all, we need to support businesses and stabilize the economy. More support should be given to SMEs. The government should enhance support for the HKECIC to help exporters navigate the instability, while we need to enhance the BUD Fund and also the SME Exporting Markets Fund. We need to help the businesses tap the new overseas market. And also we need to establish an e-commerce subsidy scheme to help businesses tap overseas e-commerce business. Second, we need to uphold our position as a free port. We need to give play to our advantage as being a connector between the country and the world. We need to enhance free flow of goods, information, and capital. And also we need to strike ahead and attract leading enterprises to use Hong Kong as a regional headquarters to manage their brand and supply chain. With our professional services and the experience in helping businesses go global, we can become a platform for mainland businesses and local businesses to go global. More resources should be dedicated to set up services center or ETOs in our potential trade partners like the Middle Eastern countries. We need to tap new source of goods and markets. And also, we need to enhance our competitiveness as an international financial center. We need to more actively attract foreign capital. The trade war has destabilized the international financial market. We need strong measures to establish a wide range of risk management products covering USD, RMB, and other currencies. We need to become an important platform for managing capital. We need to have attractive listing rules to attract potential companies to list in Hong Kong, especially for China concept stocks which are going to delist from the US. We need to give them priority. The government should also speed up introducing innovative financial products and attract more Belt and Road businesses to use our payment system to settle in RMB. This will help us adapt to the trend of delinking from USD. It will help us enhance our position as an international financial and trade center as well, I so submit. Mr. Chen Siu-hong. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of the motion moved by Mr. Ma Fung-kwok that is staying firm and united to counter the tariff trade wars and strengthening Hong Kong's role as an international gateway. I also support the two amendments. Now, the unilateral tariff and trade wars initiated by the US is hurting itself. It also hurts the global economy. We need to give play to our role as an international gateway and deepen international cooperation and interaction. We need to work with the country and uphold our own natural interest and trade and justice. We need to uphold the multilateral trading system. Now, we need to focus and integrate our resources to achieve that. Now, we have 14 ETOs in the world. They are located in the North America, Asia, and Middle East. Their responsibilities is to promote trade ties, promote our strengths, and also deal with visas. Now, the Trade Development Council also has offices in the world. Now, there are 68 offices covering 129 countries. In terms of number and scope of services, we have a very comprehensive external linkage, but we need to review the role of our external links to give better play to their roles. Now, the TDC offices and ETOs are not synergizing with each other. The government has a wide coverage in terms of its ETOs network, but not every one of them is able to provide one-stop services to businesses. And also, these are the first contact points of foreign businesses. We need to offer them tailor-made support services and information packages to attract them to invest in Hong Kong. In terms of going global, the TDC is responsible for promoting our local businesses in foreign markets. Now, with their overseas offices, they are also providing on-site support for our businesses. Now, the TDC is the official organ representing the Hong Kong SAR government and our businesses. They are responsible for dealing with the bilateral relations with our trading partners. They are also responsible for promoting our strengths and attracting foreign direct investment. Deputy Secretary, I listed out the roles of these three bodies to drive the point that we need to adopt a new mindset. Like other members, we are concerned about the separation of duties and overlapping of resources of these organs. Now, whenever we talk about foreign trade, the government would give us a consolidated number of offices deployed by these three organs to show how extensive the network is. But when we ask for a breakdown, they will tell us that they have different roles. Now, for Invest Hong Kong, there is a steering committee led by the director of Invest Hong Kong itself. Inquiries and complaints from the businesses will be referred to the high level of the government directly. Now, but these are at the later stage of the work, and it's not proactive enough. Now, we need to bolster our own strength. The government should conduct a review on how to integrate its resources and establish a one-stop platform for attracting foreign investment. Now, with the current political landscape in the world, we need to emerge from reactive responses to proactive preparation. Now, I support the establishment of ETOs in Riyadh and other places. Now, I hope the reform will go deeper. Rather than just opening one more office, there need to be reform in terms of the mindset. We need to give full play to one country, two systems, and our institutional strength to align with the country. We need to tie over the crisis together.
Mr. Robert Lee. Thank you, Deputy President. The U.S. has waged a tariff war against China. Not only have tariffs been imposed on Hong Kong products, we've also been forced to adopt the measure in relation to small parcels. And in face of these challenges, our country has remained steadfast in its position and introduced countermeasures. We should also cope with the country's strategies to against the U.S. Bullying Act. Now, I want to focus on two areas. First, the implications of the tariff wars on our country in Hong Kong and how we can leverage on our advantages to tap opportunities. U.S. has always been a major trading partner in 2024, being the third trading partner in Hong Kong. The total trade volume reached 500 billion Hong Kong dollars. Hong Kong is the 27th trading partner in the U.S. There is a trade surplus of $271.5 billion US dollars in the past decade. An increase in tariffs will definitely have an impact on our trading relations. However, we have diversified our trading strategies, and this can offset somewhat the implications of the tariff wars. U.S. trading accounted for 4.8% of our total trading volume in March this year, down by 5.2% comparing to the same period last year. Export of goods to Asia in general increased by 22.4%. For some ASEAN countries such as Malaysia and Vietnam, we recorded a surge of 57 and 41.3%. The total volume of trade in March with Vietnam and U.S. Accounted for some 55% of trading with the U.S. According to statistics in 2024, ASEAN is the second largest trading partner of Hong Kong. We should keep a closer tie with ASEAN countries to cushion the impacts of tariffs. I agree with Mr. Yim Kong in his amendment that we should tap new markets in the Belt and Road countries, etc., and explore other emerging markets to keep our edge. I also support the timely measures rolled out by the government to support trade to help tide SMEs over. The business sector further proposes to the government to further explore improving the business environment so as to transform Hong Kong into a cross or multinational supply chain service management center. There should also be greater collaboration with the Belt and Road countries and CEPA, under CEPA, so as to promote AI in green tech and high-end products. On the financial front, the Financial Secretary has directed the SFC and the Hong Kong Exchange to draw measures to attract the listing of China concept stocks in Hong Kong. Dr. So Cheung-wing's amendment referred to the same point. We should proactively seek to attract them to list in Hong Kong. Now, there are some 200 such stocks listed in the U.S. at the moment. According to some estimates, 27 of them reach a total market capitalization of 184 billion US dollars, and their listing or secondary listing in Hong Kong will be of significance. A dedicated hotline should be set up to help, or channel should be set up to help China concept stocks of different scales and nature of business to be listed in Hong Kong, so as to bolster our status as an IFC and enhance our role as an international gateway of our country. We should continue to give play to our unique advantages of one country, two systems. By leveraging on our network, we should also explore different export markets to cushion the adverse impact of the U.S. tariffs. We should also refine our financial infrastructure so that we become the premier location for China concept stocks to be listed here. And so submit. Dr. Cheung-wing. Now, Xia Baolong, the director, earlier said that the U.S. doesn't just want tax revenue, they are after our own being, our own existence. And this is an existential problem for our country because of the U.S. tariffs. Our people are aggrieved. We remain steadfast with our country. We must stay united and fight this tariff trade war. I support Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion and the two members' amendments. I think that the motion is a timely one and it's meaningful. Now, I made three suggestions during the debate of the second reading of the budget. I think that the policy bureaus should not drag on their feet. They must promote deep transformation of Hong Kong. That means in terms of the market, innovation, technology, and high-end services industries, we must promote in-depth transformation. Now, we must improve our fundamentals. That means there should be more support for Hong Kong enterprises to have technological breakthroughs. They should tap emerging markets. Take ASEAN market as an example. This is a very popular market among different economies. According to the TDC survey in 2024, 30% of Hong Kong enterprises responding to the survey of the view that it's very difficult to find competent service providers in the region. And there are also views that there are problems with data security. It is difficult to have sufficient professionals. The SAR government should roll out concrete measures to support Hong Kong enterprises in tapping the ASEAN market. As I understand, we have 3 ETOs in Singapore, Thailand, and Indonesia. Very soon, the 4th ETO will be set up in Malaysia. At the same time, we should give play to our advantages to promote economic and trade relations. We should leverage on the overseas Chinese network and help manufacturers and investors solve development pain points. We should strive for early accession into RCEP to enjoy the dividends of development in ASEAN market. We should also work with banks, financial institutions to make sure that they support the government. As for the business sector, they've suggested that banks should be encouraged to provide more dedicated loans to support Hong Kong enterprises to go global. My second suggestion is that the 6 little dragons in Hangzhou have told us that in order to scale new heights in innovation, technology development, we need the 3 pillars of support: policy, talent, and capital. In the earlier visit to Hangzhou, Chief Executive told us that the government strived to be highly inclusive in terms of innovation technology. The government will create a favorable environment and continue to promote industrial upgrade and transformation. There is a good ecosystem in Hangzhou. It has turned from a city of e-commerce to a new breeding ground for IT talents. And that is why we should also expedite development of IT in Hong Kong. We should remove red tape and set up mechanisms. And we should also have holiday schemes to facilitate the professors' work here so that they can keep their two hats while they come over and participate in research and commercialization of research outcomes. So not only should we catch up with Hangzhou, we should also overtake Silicon Valley and also the semiconductor industry in Amsterdam, Netherlands. The other point is this. Recently, the U.S. government has continued to tighten the requirements of student visas. Some students are forced to leave. This affects not only Chinese students but also students from other countries. This presents a new development opportunity for Hong Kong. We should expedite the construction of the university town in Northern Metropolis so as to attract more talents. We should work with potential institutions from around the world so as to build Hong Kong into an international post-education hub. Mr. Perry Yu. Mr. President, the U.S. has waged a tariff trade war and it has dished out tariffs indiscriminately. It shows the bullying nature of the U.S. government. This has been heavily criticized by the global community as it has brought uncertainties to the global economy. The tariff war not only impacts on the multilateral trading mechanism and global supply chain, it also stirs trade conflicts and it suppresses multinational business activities. It hampers the investors' confidence in the market. Now, in particular, for the tourism industry, which is still on the path of recovery, we must stay united. We must carefully assess the latest international landscape and supply chain so that we leverage on our unique advantages and give play to our role as an international gateway. We must flexibly adjust our tourism development strategies. From another perspective, I'd say that the tariff war would present an opportunity for overseas tourists to come to Hong Kong. So this is an additional incentive. The US dollar is going strong together with inflationary pressure. Many tourists will be deterred from going to the US, and the price-sensitive international visitors would rather visit other places such as the mainland and Hong Kong. So we should give play to our role as the connector between the mainland and the world. With risks come opportunities. Deputy President, the government should exercise effective leadership, help us devise strategies and find our balancing point. That means we should seek and embrace changes. We should turn risks into opportunities. The first point is that we should know our position and remove red tape. It's not just about crisis management in the short term. We should be long-sighted and we should consider the new positioning in the global landscape so as to make Hong Kong the international tourism destination hub and also a demonstration zone for one trip multiple destinations and actively integrate into our country. And specifically, we should strive for facilitation measures such as a multiple visa policy for mainland visitors, raising the duty allowance amount, etc., so that we can unleash the potential and implement that tourism is everywhere in Hong Kong. We should also deepen regional cooperation. The tourism industry may be affected by international visitors turning to smaller regions. We should give play to our role as a demonstration zone, and we should also tap new markets and expand our circle of friends to Belt and Road countries in the Middle East and ASEAN to hedge risks. We should also ramp up our efforts in city building by holding more major events, tourism summits, etc., so as to give play to our role as a super connector and super value adder. The third point is that we should enhance our competitiveness and promote industrial upgrade and transformation. As President Xi said, that there is no winner in the tariff war. This will only alienate yourself. Now, in the face of the U.S. Bullying tactics, we must enhance our competitiveness by developing high value added and innovative economic models. We should also explore different tourism products such as low altitude tourism itineraries. We should groom talents to bolster our status, develop our status as an East-West Center for International Cultural Exchange ISO Summit.
Mr. Jimmy Ng, thank you, Deputy President. Mr. Donald Trump, President of the U.S., started a tariff war. It disrupted the global financial order. Let me call it a characteristic tariff war. 1. It is barbaric. Donald Trump decided on the increase in the tariff. 2. The tariff wars target China. They impose sanctions, but then we have the foundation to counter these tariff wars. The Ministry of Commerce already said that we would fight tooth and nail in this tariff war. We need to stay united. We need to stand firm. In the face of the tariff wars, the first step is that we need to have a strong foothold to turn risks into opportunities. We also need to seek progress in a steady manner. The commercial and trade sector bear the brunt. They want the government to provide assistance. The BPA met with the administration to discuss countermeasures. The administration also implemented supporting measures. The Hong Kong MA and different banks held urgent meetings. The banking sector promised to continue to support the SMEs. Different policies have been put in place, including the provision of different guarantees. These timely measures help SMEs to stand firm, and it also shows that the commercial sector, the administration, and the public stay united. We need to turn risks into opportunities. On the 16th of April, the BPA held a press conference and made 3 suggestions. 1, we need to roll with the punches and implement countermeasures. 2, we need to strengthen our position as an international shipping center. 3, we need to cement our position as an international shipping center. We all know Donald Trump's always chops and changes. That's why we need to play it by ear. 1, we need to expand different markets and develop different markets. In addition to Latin America, African markets, as well as the Middle East markets, we need to develop new markets. The industry also need to search for new headquarters. China is the second largest economy around the world. We must continue to play our function as a superconnector as well as an international gateway. This Saturday, the chief executive will lead its deputations comprising different officials and trade leaders to Qatar and Kuwait. We need to make good use of our own strengths to sign more FTA with different countries. We also need to seek accession to RCEP in order to reduce reliance on the U.S. market. We need to think twice before we leap into any action. We need to prepare more plans. We need more than one plan. We need to have fallback plans if our plan doesn't work. Well, we can have a wide array of plans, but we need to think twice before we start. We shouldn't put all eggs into one single basket. After all, investment is different from speculation. I so submit I support the motion and the amendments. Thank you, Deputy President. Mr. Michael Lok. Thank you, Deputy President. I support Mr. Ma Fung-kwok's motion on staying firm and united to counter the tariff trade wars and strengthening Hong Kong's role as an international gateway. The U.S. started a trade war. Mr. Mao said the U.S. is arrogant. It never reasons with you. We need to stay resilient. We need to stay united. Indian-Pakistan conflicts have been raging. The Indian Air Force was strongly damaged. Different fighter jets were shot and damaged. Military technology is very important to our country. It shows how advanced our country is. A mechanical watch is very delicately designed. It comes with a very low price tag. This shows China has the foundation. In 2024, high-end export saw an increase of 40%. Vehicle export, vessel export, they ranked the first around the world. Photovoltaic technologies, power stations, power output, they account for over half of the global output. We are leading in many areas. The U.S. is proud of their navies, and they have to outsource their repair and maintenance in this regard. Military hegemony, technological hegemony, financial hegemony. People are losing their confidence in the U.S. dollars. Donald Trump keeps changing. The U.S. is now in a tight spot. To a certain degree, we have to thank Mr. Donald Trump. Otherwise, people wouldn't know how advanced our inventions and technologies are. We have these strengths of one country, two systems. We need to tell good stories of China and attract foreign enterprises. Financing is a major platform. Hong Kong is the largest renminbi offshore settlement center. We need to continue to strengthen our role as a renminbi internationalization center or hub. We need to reduce reliance on the U.S. market. This gateway should be led by the administration. We have something good and we need to turn it into good account. In the special meeting of the Finance Committee, I asked why a Japan-made electrical vehicle became most of the EV sourced by the Hong Kong government despite its low energy efficiency. A total of 78 were sourced by the Hong Kong government. The government needs to take leading example to support local products and export. In the work report of the two sessions, it mentions we need to stimulate internal circulation. We need to promote good circulation and competition. family-friendly employment practices need to be promoted and put in place so that people will understand competition comes from new quality productive forces, but not from lowering the labor costs. We have human-centric manpower management policies. We need to achieve a win-win situation and weather the storms and become a winner in the tariff war. We will win. Thank you. Mr. Jeffrey Lam. Thank you, Deputy President. Donald Trump increased tariff rates and destroyed the our ties with different countries. The bullying tariff wars initiated by the U.S. brought benefits to no one. Donald Trump had a very low rating. Hong Kong would definitely support China in countering the measure put in place by the U.S. The U.S. and China have very close trade ties. We are an open city. We have an open economy. We have frequent trade ties with the U.S. We've been actively developing new markets. We have been seeing a decrease in our export to the U.S. As a result of the tariff wars, many production lines have been moved to other Asian regions. New markets are being developed. But a lot of impacts have been brought to Hong Kong as well as Hong Kong enterprises when it comes to cash flow and capital. I'm glad to know that the Chief Executive, Mr. John Lee, floated 7 measures to counter the measures put in place by the U.S. that covered assistance provided to SMEs. In the face of the tariff war, we need to stay firm and help local SMEs as well as local enterprises. There have been delays in the delivery of products. Factories have to repay to banks on a regular basis, have to pay wages to employees, and so on. They are facing a huge pressure when it comes to cash flow. The logistics sector bears the brunt. There are over 1,000 companies in this regard, and a lot of employees will be affected. The BPA and I have made a lot of suggestions to the government. The Hong Kong MA and banks in Hong Kong need to implement the measures of the administration in order to help local enterprises to address capital flow issues. They need to have the financial resources before they can continue in this war. They need to be able to stay afloat. Under the principle of one country, two systems, we enjoy free port, and we also enjoy connection with the world, as well as liaison with the world. Our country practices multilateralism. Some Middle East countries expect their economy to be diversified. They also want to develop tourism sector as well as new energy sectors. There's huge potential. So we not only need to develop markets when it comes to export, but actually different industries can also go global or seek further development. We shouldn't in blind pursuit of development. Hong Kong enterprises should work together with state enterprises. In emerging markets, we need to set up ETOs. We need to hold more international conventions, exhibitions. We also need to streamline application procedures. With risks come opportunities. I believe we can weather the storms, and we will also be able to develop new markets. I also submit thank you, Deputy President.
多謝譚耀恒，Thank you, Deputy President.